Hallo und herzlich willkommen bei FotoTV. Kein Trend hat wahrscheinlich in letzter Zeit die Szene der Fotografie derartig stark bewegt wie die Stockfotografie und insbesondere die Microstock Fotografie. Wo früher große Budgets für Fotoproduktionen eingeplant wurden, geht man heute ins Internet und kauft für kleines Geld Bildrechte ein, um Publikationen, Webseiten und dergleichen mehr zu machen. Für viele Fotografen ist es ein Graus, denn sie müssen komplett umdenken. Dass man aber mit Stockfotografie und selbst mit der Microstock-Fotografie, wo pro Bild oft wenige Dollar nur bezahlt werden, sehr erfolgreich Geld verdienen kann, das ist unser Thema heute. Uns erreicht ein Anruf von Fotolia, einer der großen bekannten Microstock-Webseiten im Internet. Fotolia hat den bestverkaufenden Microstock-Fotografen Yuri Arcurs eingeladen zu einem Workshop und wir dürfen dabei sein. Folgt uns also zu einem Besuch beim Workshop von Yuri Arcurs.
So hello, I'm Oleg Cheltsov. I'm the CEO of Fotolia, fotolia.com. And we are today welcoming you in Berlin in a fantastic studio here where we organize our first big workshop with Yuri Arcurs. And hopefully at the end of the day, everybody who is attending the workshop will know how to shoot images that sell.
Probably about 3 years ago, I was in a transaction in my photography. I wasn't making money from stock really traditionally. I started to do Microstock as a hobby thing besides my studies. And soon that hobby thing kind of grew into actually producing quite a lot of money. And at some point I remember making it a kind of like a goal that if I hit $10,000 per month, I would stop my studies and I'll start shooting instead. Because then I would be making more than I would be doing when I was finished studying. So I kind of stopped at that point and started focusing on what has now grown into a full-scale business with 10 people in Denmark, 1 in the US, and 10 people in India. So we're pretty happy. Today we're going to be talking about how to do lights, how to instruct models, how to do a shoot. So we'll definitely have a lot to do. We always shoot with the same white balance throughout a whole shoot. So we make a custom white balance in the start of the shoot, and we shoot with that basically throughout the whole shoot. If we start changing sets, if we go outside, if we go to another place, we have to do a new measurement and start shooting with that. There are a couple of reasons for that. One first reason is that once you're editing your images afterwards and you have the same white balance on all the images, it's very easy to do an adjustment and just do it on all the images. Then you've done that. It's very nice. If you do out of white balance, you're in for quite a job. You have to go into every image and adjust every one of them individually. That's very hard. So do yourself a favor and shoot custom white balance throughout the whole shoot. Have a grade card with you, do the measurement. Once you go in the developer program and you take the picker tool and touch that little grade card, you'll get a Kelvin that's in average about 400 to 300 Kelvin too high. So you push that down a little bit and you got it right on. That's the white balance you want to work with throughout the whole set. If you shoot with a wrong white balance and you shoot a lot of shots that are with a white balance that's very low and afterwards you want to edit them up, that will create bad files. Microstock is so particular about focus that these are the techniques you can use to really improve the percentage of images that you will get online. Microstock is very tough on this, much tougher than traditional stock, so you have to be careful. What we do is we use automatic focus for getting to the point where we want really fast. And then you use manual from there. But what you do is you use a one-spot metering. And a one-spot metering is that once you look in this little thing here, you'll see a little red dot. That red dot, for some of you guys, is probably not a red dot, but a lot of red dots. So you have to change that to being just one little red dot. The reason that's important is that then you can focus right on the eye. So you want one little red dot, and you want to be able to move that dot around so that I don't have to, for example, if I do like this, and my red dot now is in the bottom, and I'm trying to focus on his eye, I have to move it down, all this, so much, to get it in focus. That's not good. You will get pictures that are out of focus because of that. Okay? So you want to be able to move that dot around so that it's as close to where you want it when you're shooting, and you don't have to move your camera too much to moving around the focus. Listen to the shutter. Okay? Now that's because it has an automatic delay. And it's a big shutter. Boom, boom. But it has an automatic delay. That delay is the reason that a lot of Hasselblad files are so much sharper than the Canon. Listen to it again. Now, I press, and when I say now, that's actually when the picture is taken. Now, okay? Now, what people don't know is that you can do the same in a Canon. That will give you about 50% more sharp images, because what happens is that you're not delayed or you're not shaken by the shake you do when you press, but when you release it. And that is called silent mode, the little S here. So by shooting this mode, you're getting a whole lot of shot. Look at this. That's the same. That's not how it sounds automatically. Normally it will go a lot faster than that. See? It's a whole lot of sound. You have to be able to breathe right. If you just breathe normally when you shoot, you're not going to get sharp images. You have to inhale just before the shoot, and you have to keep it. Just that 1 second. And the reason for doing that is getting control over your heartbeat and getting enough oxygen to be able to focus for that split second where you have to do the shutter technique. So what you do, the first thing, is you position yourself, you find the frame you want to find, and you've gone through everything else, but for that 1 second of complete Zen meditational state, you have to be 100% focused. You find the things you want to shoot right here. I found this guy with the camera. And I'm completely still. I inhale, and there's the shot. Next step is to doing the shutter technique. And there are 2 steps in that. The first step is to do the visual check. Next step is the shutter technique. We boil that into one, a feeling that we work with. And the first one is the visual check. And the reason I say visual check is because most people will say, it's saying bit now, it's in focus, I'll shutter. There's a very, very, very long way to go from that and to get 100% sharp images every time. So what you do instead is that you lean back, you get that right feeling, you're breathing in while you're doing the visual check, you're seeing, this is in focus. It's not focused behind, not in front. I'm sure it's in focus. It's not just saying bip. I'm checking it's in focus. And then you do the shutter technique. And the shutter technique is a silent press. And the way you do it is just you silently press a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more, and it goes off, click. But you have to do that silent press within like half a second, so that you don't bench press. You don't want to press it a lot. You will get trigger mistakes, and you can see trigger mistakes in the raw files. If your images are slightly unsharp all the time, that's because you have a trigger mistake. And if you start pulling it down to maybe a 30th of a second, and that sharpness goes this way, then you know why. Okay? 90% of people that have not been told this have images like this. They're shaking that way in this frame, and they're shaking that way in that frame, like in every opposites of the frame.